All right, over Christmas I was very fortunate to spend a few weeks in Fiji, Bulla, as they say. It's a remarkable little country and it has 5 religions. They are Christianity, Muslim, Hindu, Kava and Rugby. But in our travels throughout this beautiful nation, I was struck by the growing influence of the Chinese throughout the country. And Fiji is one of many South Pacific countries to undergo massive Chinese investment in the past 20 years. Countries like Vanuatu, the Solomon Islands, Papua New Guinea, Samoa and Tonga are enjoying similar booms in Chinese investment, usually in the form of loans. The Chinese are playing a long game. That's what they do very, very well. They're investing in roads, airports, ports and agriculture. It's transparent and it's growing. As I said, in Fiji, our guide would nod at a new road, he'd nod at a new factory, he'd nod at something going up just down the road and he'd say, Chinese money. To suggest the Chinese investment has caused ripples in Canberra would be an understatement. There have been private rumblings galore about this escalation in Chinese influence, especially with the geopolitical significance of these countries to Australia, not to mention the strategic defence implications. Now, today the government announced a major cutback in foreign aid to Asia, but big increases in its commitment to the South Pacific. This has been criticised in some quarters, but the big picture is that propping up Australia's links to the South Pacific is much more important right now than relationships with countries like Vietnam and Cambodia. The Chinese have made it increasingly clear that it wants economic and political influence in the Asia and South Pacific regions. It's important that we let the South Pacific nations know that we are their closest allies. In fact, Fiji wouldn't survive without Aussie tourists, plain and simple. We must reassert our authority in the South Pacific. We must pump extra foreign aid into those countries, and we must ensure that they understand that we are their closest allies. The government says it has reprioritised its aid program to match the so-called Pacific Step-Up program. This increase in aid to these countries is up to now $1.4 billion this financial year. Papua New Guinea is the big winner, with aid up by more than $80 million. As a country, Australia needs to ensure the Chinese encroachment into the South Pacific is nullified. There's a great deal at stake on this, especially for future generations.